Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is the mental wellness channel with Waihiga. If you're new here, I hope that you stick around and take a listen to what I have to share. Today I want to talk about a relationship that I was in. It was a very abusive relationship, and I want to talk about how I got into it, how I got out of it. So I want to share this because I see a lot of women, a lot of young girls going through this. And I just want to share some of the hard things that I've been through. I've been through some really difficult things. And I don't want you guys to go through that. So let's just listen and see what you find. Back when I was in college, in my first or second year, in my second year, I got into this relationship in my first year. I was 19. I was 19 when I met. I got into this relationship with this guy. And it wasn't even a relationship, it was like a situationship. Except those times during 2011, 2012, we never used to use the word situationship, right? So I met him at a bar/club outside of school, but it was really near school on a Thursday night. And he sent drinks to my table, and he was wearing sunglasses at night, indoors. And I thought that was a very douchebag thing to do. Anyways, he came up to me, he introduced himself, and he asked me my name. And I think I lied to him slightly, or I gave him the wrong name. And then I forgot about it. And then there was another time I was walking somewhere, I think from school or something, from basketball practice or the gym. And he started calling out that name that I gave him, and I just burst out laughing. And I looked at him and I was like, my name is Waihiga. And he was like, oh, so you gave me the wrong name. Oh, so you're tripping. Anyways, fast forward. I kept bumping into him. I bumped into him at a friend's place. And then he had a bottle of liquor. I asked if I could drink some. He said, cool. We started sipping. And then, we just started hanging out more and more. The more I started hanging out with him, the more I realized, oh, okay. Kind of like this guy. And I fell deeply in love with him. Deeply in love with him. And that's the thing, he would tell me don't fall in love with me, I think he definitely knew how toxic he was. So we became a couple or a thing. All the red flags start to go up. I stopped hanging out with my girlfriends. I'm spending all my time with him. Instead of staying at my place, I'm staying at his place. And instead of going to class, I'm hanging out with him. I cancel my plans for his plans. Whenever I have something going on, it's swept up because of him. And basically my personality started to shrink because I didn't feel like he approved of me the way I was. In the beginning, it was fine. I could be Waihiga, bubbly, actress, model, go-getter, ambitious, Waihiga, that is cool. But then somewhere in between or inside the relationship, it became an issue. Me being myself was an issue. Oh, you're too loud, or you're too this, you're too, all the time you just want to go. He always used to complain about that. And I remember feeling like I'm an inconvenience or something. So the things that he liked about me to begin with, the ambition, the drive, became an issue. And then just when I think he thought he got me, he started talking to me about other women. I've had her, I've been with her. And obviously that would make me feel some type of way. It would make me feel really jealous of these women. It would make me feel inadequate. It would make me compare myself to these other women. And it will also keep me on my toes. That's another thing that he would do. He would constantly keep me in constant vigilance. Don't think that your spot is secure. I can get any girl I want. He wouldn't say those words, but he would insinuate it by talking about other women, or pointing out other women, or straight up just flirting with other women straight up in my face. The dynamics of the relationship started to change because the beginning of the relationship, I was very much myself. I had the power, and I felt like he treated me well. And then things flipped. The more I liked him, the worse treatment I got, the worse. The more I tried to show him that I'm a chill girlfriend, or I'm a chill situationship, or whatever, I'm good with his flow, the worse he treated me. And this is also the guy that I say really showed me how to drink. I can't say that anybody turned me into an alcoholic. I definitely turned myself into an alcoholic. I became an alcoholic by myself. But I was definitely shown how to drink more in this relationship, in this particular relationship. Before this relationship, I didn't know things about daily drinking. I didn't know things about really cheap liquor. I didn't know things about budgeting. Like, you can get 750 mLs of vodka for 1,000 shillings. I didn't know that type of thing. I just used to do a lot of ciders and Patron. Patron and Captain Morgan Spice, gold rum, that type of thing. The only spirits I used to take were the ones that I would see in the club. So Jose Cuervo, and that would be like on the lower end of tequila, Jose Cuervo. So from him, I learned how to budget alcohol. And that there was such a thing as, you can get gin for like 120 shillings, which is like 12 rand. Well, I don't know the conversion right now, but it's very cheap. And I also didn't know you could drink the next day if you've been drinking the day before. I knew that if you've been drinking on a Friday, there's no way you're drinking on a Saturday. If you've been drinking on a Saturday, you're not drinking on a Sunday. Like, I knew that, those types of etiquette when it came to drinking and social drinking. However, when I met him, he would tell me things like, if you really feel bad, if you feel like you're really sick, and we'd been drinking heavily the night before, drinking more now will really help. And I'd be like, damn, okay. And I'd try it, and it was true, like, you'd feel disgusted to begin with, but then after a few minutes the buzz starts coming back and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel great. So that started a new reaction in me, that started a new pattern for me, where I started drinking daily, and I also started drinking cheap liquor, and I also started drinking with the technique. I knew how to get rid of a hangover. You want to get rid of a hangover, drink more the next day. And I didn't know those three things before entering this relationship. So that's basically how things started unfolding. We'd go to class, I'd be buzzed because I'd had a drink before. I'd sit in class, get through the lecture, come meet him afterwards, and then we'd go drink. And that was our life. Our life was just drinking with his buddies, with his friends, with his boys. And I was normally like the only girl who was there. It felt cool. Like, it felt like trophy wife type of thing. It felt like, oh my gosh, like, yay, like, he holds me in some kind of esteem, which is absolutely not what was going on. I'm sure those men were just like lusting after me. I'm pretty sure. And they were just looking at me like, this poor girl. Like, he's gonna do you in. He's gonna do you so bad. And he did. He definitely did me very, very bad. Very bad. And not one of his friends gave a damn. You see, that's when also I realized that a man and his friends, if you think as a woman you're gonna come in between that and, I don't know, mix that up or something, it's not gonna happen. They always band together for some reason. And so the first night that he physically assaulted me was in a club. We'd gone to a club, everything was normal. I was tipsy, so meaning, I was really happy. I was having the time of my life, and I was really just hugging everyone that I met. And he was like, I remember him being angry at me, like, why? What's wrong with you? Why are you hugging everyone? Like, why are you like hugging onto the guys? Like, what's wrong? Like, and I was like, what is your problem? Like, I've always been like this. You're ruining my vibe. You're ruining my high. Like, stop it. And then I remember just chilling at a bar table somewhere. Next thing I know, I just felt a cold slap hit me across the face. And I'd never been hit by a man before. And for him to do that publicly, I mean, there's just so much. There's so much going on. To do that publicly shows me he didn't care. He just didn't care. He didn't care about his life, my life, anyone's life at that point. And he's very comfortable being physically violent with women. So this is probably not the first time that he had done that. Hit a woman. So he hit me square in the face in a crowded club. I don't remember if it was a Friday or a Saturday night, but it was quite packed. And everybody around was like, whoa. And I was like looking around like, who did this? I was like looking around I was thinking it was a girl who had done that. Because, that's normally who I would expect to be doing such things, like getting into a cat fight. But I turned around and I saw it was him, and he was just yelling expletives at me. And he was just swearing off at me. And I looked at him and I couldn't believe that he hit me. Like, I couldn't believe it was him. Like, I tried going back in my mind, what did I do? And that's the saddest part. I think that's the saddest part. That's the saddest thing we do as women. We start going back into the archives of our brain and we're like, oh, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do to deserve this? To somehow justify the fact that a grown man put his hands on you. That is not okay. That is not normal. So he was shouting at me. He was shouting expletives. I don't even remember what he was saying because I wasn't hearing words. It's like everything went mute and his mouth was just moving. It was so angry and he was just spouting out spit. And I was just looking into his eyes, like wondering, like, what happened? And some of his boys were holding him back or whatever. I don't even remember. And then he left me in the club. So I somehow made it all the way over to his place at like 7 a.m. I found him sprawled asleep in bed and he was like, what are you doing back here? No, you deserved it. I should have hit you some more. I mean, it just escalated. I went over to his place thinking that maybe he left me in the club by mistake or something. I didn't understand how he left because he knew you're my only right. Like, I don't know anybody else here. What do you mean you left me? And that to me is crazy. Like, you left your whole girl. I was to you, but you left me in a club with strangers after hitting me and you just went home on your merry way. So I found my way back to him and he continued just yelling at me like, no, you have no idea. I should have even hit you some more. You deserved more. You were just being so disrespectful. And I was like, I came here because I thought you were going to apologize. And you're not even going to apologize for hitting me. So I knew then and there, like, he was absolutely wrong. Like, at that point, I was like, I wasn't backing down. I was like, how the hell do you hit me? Like, I don't care what your problem is with me, but you don't hit women. Like, I was really schooling him and he didn't want to hear it. He was like, get out, get out. He loved to do that. Loved to kick me out of their house at like crazy hours. So I don't know if I left at that point, but there was that incident. And then we kept on struggling together. And we had this crazy, I don't know if it was a trauma bond or what, but we kept just coming back to it. At this point, our relationship was so toxic. It was so toxic. The second time he hit me was in his room. It started off as a joke, actually. We were just tackling each other or something. And then it turned into like a serious fight. I don't know why it did. And I don't remember much about the whole incident, but I remember it started off as a joke and then it moved into a fight. And when I was trying to be like, okay, like, you're seriously hurting me, it just wasn't going through. It wasn't going through. And then the third time that he hit me was under a bridge on Thika Road at like 4 a.m. in the morning. So by this time, we had been like over, I guess. We were not in a relationship or anything. But we still used to party a lot together. Like, I'd see him in the club or he'd see me in the club. We always had great banter. So we always had great banter. Amazing conversations. So, and we just loved to drink together and laugh and chill. So that's what we used to do. We'd meet, see each other in the club, and then just get on like a house on fire. So one of these nights, that is what happened. That's what ended up happening. And then I was supposed to leave with him. So as we were leaving together, we started getting into an argument. He started complaining about something. I don't know what it was. That's the thing about me though, when I'm drunk, I will give you mouth. I will keep giving you mouth. I will give you lip, and lip. So I kept on giving it to him. And his friend was supposed to drop us off at his place or something like that. So we left with his friend. We left college, the college that we both went to. We left that place and we drove around Safari Park, and then we came under Thika Road onto the highway. And when that friend got onto the highway, he got out, like he stopped the car. And he told us both, like, you need to get out of my car. Like, I am not going with both of you like this. Oh, gosh. So we were there, like, okay, I don't know what we're going to do. It's 4 a.m. or something in the morning. It was a ridiculous hour. And I thought, okay, now we're going to look for a public transport or something so that we can get to his place. No. Next thing I knew, I felt a blow to the side of my head. And I was like, oh snap, here we go again. By this time, I was so drunk and out of it. I couldn't even defend myself. I couldn't stand up. I was so sloppy drunk. I just fell down and I stayed down. And that's when he started to strangle me and to try choke me. Now at that point, I remember like looking at him in his eyes and being like, I said some expletives. Like I swore at him. And I said something to the effect of, you're a coward. You're a coward. And at that point, I was no longer scared of him. The blows that he was giving me, whatever, the shouting, it didn't matter. It's like I was numb to him. I didn't care anymore what he did. He would hit, he would punch, but I didn't feel anything, man. I was so boozed out. So on the side of the road right there, he tried to strangle me or whatever he was doing. He had his hands around my throat. Yeah, I said what I said to him, and out of freaking nowhere, someone came out of like the bridge, like from under the bridge or around the bushes. Do you know how chaotic this is? Because this is 4 a.m. or something. It was a ridiculous hour. There's no one on this road. It is dark. There's no street lights. Someone came out of nowhere and that grabbed his attention. So he got off me. He stopped. He released his hands from around my neck. And then he started going to this person and trying to explain to them, please, sir, explain to this woman what she does. Explain to her. This is the type of person she is. So I have to do this and this to her. And I saw that as an opportunity to run. And boy, that's what I did. So me and my drunk self, I get up, I run up the stairs of the bridge, I run across the bridge, I run down the bridge, and then I'm starting to walk towards Safari Park. That road was Safari Park Hotel. And I was walking, and then it starts to rain. It's starting to drizzle, it's starting to rain. And 5 minutes later, guess who appears on a motorcycle? It's him. And he's yelling at me. He's like, get on the bike! Get on the bike! I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, bruh, where am I gonna go? So I get on the bike with him. And we go to someone's apartment or something. And we crash there for like the next 2 or 3 hours. I don't know. And that was the last time that he hit me. There was a time that we partied together another time. And this argument came up about him being violent towards me. So he finally said, yo, if you want your revenge, hit me now. And I slapped him like 3 times in the face. But it didn't compare, and nothing will compare to the hell that he put me through, or the hell that I also put myself through. Yeah, those were some crazy days. So that relationship was insane. And I wish to tell you that I left that relationship because one day after he nearly strangled me to death on that bridge, under the bridge rather, I left that relationship like, oh my gosh, like, I'm done. This guy is going to kill me one day, and it's getting progressively worse, and I deserve better. That's not what happened. You know what happened? The honest truth, he started cheating on me, and he continued cheating on me. And then the honest truth is that he left me. That's how that relationship ended. I didn't end that relationship. I was severely heartbroken. I lost my mind after that relationship. I made a vow with myself that I was gonna drink myself to death basically after he left. And that's what I did. I drank like you won't believe. So to sit here and to say that I was that strong, independent woman who was always a go-getter and who knew her rights and who knew when to stand up for herself and when enough was enough and when to tell a man where to shove it. I'm sorry, I wasn't always that person. I let myself down in that situation. And there are so many situations, especially with men, where I have let myself down. And that is a situation that I just thank God. I thank God that he got tired of me and he left. Because I wasn't able to quit him at the time. It was too strong, it was too powerful. The soul tie and whatever else was mixed in there that we had it was too much. And I couldn't leave. Despite how much I was suffering, I couldn't leave him. So he left me and my life just tanked. My life tanked. And the drinking got worse and the relationships got worse. I've never been in another situation where a man has physically, punched, kicked, beaten me up. Like I've been in a fight with a man. No. A man that I'm in a relationship with, no. Yes, I was assaulted by a man that I was in a relationship with, which I also consider a physical assault. But women who find themselves in physically abusive relationships, just remember this. If he can beat you, he can rape you. And if he can rape you, he can kill you. Beating you is not loving you. He doesn't care about you. And you're just his toy. That's all you are to him. Until a better one comes along. That is a very broken man. If you're with a man who is beating you up, if you're with a man who is taking advantage of you sexually, if you're with a man who talks down on you, if you're with a man who sees you, the woman, as competition, you need to run for the hills. Because these men are no joke. And maybe you'll be like me and you won't have the strength to leave at that time. I didn't have the strength to leave. That guy had to leave me. That's the only way the relationship ended, when he was done with me. Most abusers are never done with their victims until they're dead. So beg God for the strength and the courage to leave. Follow me on my socials. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Kindly like, share, and subscribe. Leave me your comments below. What do you think about this story? Have you ever been involved in a physically abusive relationship? If you have, let me know. How did you get out of it? What did you do? But until the next video, bye-bye.